Well, hello everyone and good evening. Welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. I hope you're doing well this evening. And we're going to continue on with our data analysis. As promised, we are going to actually look at the frequency tables. So, before we step into that, I just wanted to do like a quick little review. Okay, so we were working on the 5 summarization. Let me see if I got all this. Because I've been having a time, and when I say a time, with TikTok. Because when I say just before I came on here, I finally was able to upload last night's and a couple other ones. So I don't know what's going on, but it's all situated, okay? So welcome on in, everyone. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in just a hair, just to kind of give us an idea. Make sure all our numbers are going to be presented. So if you weren't here last night, all right, I'm going to walk you through it. So right now we have a data set. Okay, that's representing the number of points scored per game by a group of basketball players. So we have 23 points, 18 points, 20 points, 27 points, 22 points, 15, 29, 21, and 22. So what we want to do is we want to create what we did last night, which is called a box plot or a box and whisker. So it all depends on how old you are. It's basically the same thing. So the first thing that we need to do is find our median. So when we find our median, the most important thing is we need to put all these numbers in order. So we're going to start with the lowest number. So it looks like it's going to be 15. I'm just going to put it up here. So we have 15, and I just kind of cancel it out. The next one looks like 18. Then we have 20. Then 21. 22 is happening twice. 23. I know my 2s are looking ridiculous right now. 27 and 29. So as you put them in order, you basically count them out. Then you want to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got all our numbers. So since we have a total of 9 numbers, we want to find our median. Remember, the median is the middle of all our numbers. So if I go to the ends, and I'm going to count towards the middle. And as you can see, we have 1 digit. So that's the best thing. When you have an odd number of data points, you're going to have a single digit for your middle number, which is 22. So 22, that's going to be my median. So that's the middle of the whole data. So to help us focus up, we're going to just look at the left side of our data. So our low values, the lower quartile. So I want to find the middle of 15, 18, 20, and 21. All right. So if I come and I count to the middle, that means I'm looking at a number that's between 18 and 20. Now, you could do one of two things. You could add the 18 to 20 together and divide by 2 to give you that middle term. Or we can use our mind. So what whole number is between 18 and 20? Hopefully you guys are saying 19. All right, good. So now, because when we do this, we're not including the median. Okay, so now I'm going to find my third quartile, or the median of my higher numbers. So if I come over here, I have 22, 23, 27, 29. So now if I count towards the middle, I'm in between 23 and 27. Well, if I have 23 plus 27, I need to divide by 2. Okay, 23 plus 27, that gives me 50. 50 divided by 2 gives me 25. All right, so that 25, that's going to be my Q3. Basically, the median of the higher numbers is my Q3, my third quartile. The median of my lower numbers, that's going to be my first quartile. So now we're going to take our minimum value, which is the lowest number of the whole entire data set, which is 15. Then we're going to take our maximum value, which is the highest number of the data set, which is 29. So now this is when I'm going to ask you, what is our range of the data? And just like Michael mentioned yesterday, well, this seemed like there was a definition of range last time. So we're not talking about the range of X and Y coordinates. We're talking about the range or the variation of your data set. So in order to find that out, you have to take your highest number, which is 29, and you want to subtract it with your lowest number, which is 15. So that will give me 14. Okay, so your range is your highest number minus your low number, and that's with the data. But the interquartile range, that was a new phrase that we threw around yesterday. Interquartile range is when you take your Q3 and you subtract your Q1. So you're looking at your quartiles, which you got your 25. That's your third quartile. And then you got your first quartile, which is 19. So if we subtract those two, that will give us 6. Okay. So now you have the information to build your box and whisker. So what's a part of the box? The part of the box is your first, your median, and your third quartile. Now, this is when it gets hairy. Sometimes they would like to call your median your second quartile or your Q2. Okay, sometimes they call it the median, sometimes it's a Q2. So now all you have to do is do a little bit of plotting. So for this case, my lowest is 15, so 15 is somewhere in between. My first quartile is 19. So from here, then we have 22, which is lined up there. Then we have 25, which is in between 24 and 26. So I can go ahead and draw my makeshift. Okay, so this is my Q1, my median, and my Q3. And then my maximum number is 29. And 29 is in between 28 and 30. So we got the box. Now all we need is the whisker. Okay. So that's like a quick review of what we did yesterday. All right. So now I can come and say hi. I was like sitting here trying to do shorts and, try to get all the stuff. And I'm like, I talk a lot. So hello, Janice. Hello, Danny. Yep. Sorry about your crazy day. I appreciate that. It's the life of an entrepreneur. Okay. Yes. Okay. We got our median. We got our 19. Good. Hello, Bundles. How are you? Yes. And a couple follows. Thank you so much for the follows. And God is good. Hello. All right. Oh, hopefully everyone's doing well. All right. So this was just a little brush up. And if you haven't seen this before and you weren't here yesterday and you're just like, ooh, I need this lady, you can also go on to, as soon as I move this paper over, you can also go on to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, my YouTube channel, there is a playlist that has all of my TikToks. It's called TikToks Replay or my TikTok Lives. It was really deep with the name. And you can see all of my replays since February the 2nd. So if you want to go ahead, you can binge watch some of those things. Maybe there's a certain content that you want to look at. And like I said, just before I came onto the live, I just did last night's with the box plots. Okay. So you're not missing a whole lot. Uploading that was a bear. Now, with all of that being said, it's just my name and ACG Math Tutoring. So what we're going to do today, hello, Sir Eagle. There's everybody. There we go. We got Michael. All right. Hello, Pamela. Thanks for the follow. C4, how are you? All right. So we're going to continue on, but today or tonight, we're going to actually work on what's called a frequency table. All right. So I'm going to try my best to see if you guys can see everything. Let's see. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to tape this bad boy in. I just want to make sure that at least we can kind of see some of it. That's the one thing I just have to get used to. I have to figure out a way, because sometimes looking at some of these papers, it's like, oh yeah, that's going to fit. Nope. No, it's not. Kind of overdid the tape right there. All right. So what we have here, and you're like, oh, it's just like a regular table. I'm like, true. But how we find information is just another way to display your data or data. So we have Eleanor asked 35 people how many different houses they've lived in. She represents the results in a frequency table. So what's happening? If you have how many people said they lived in one house. So let me zoom in at least with the chart. Okay. So to live in one house, 6 people said they lived in one house. For 2 houses, 10 people said they lived in 2 houses. For 3 houses, 8 people said that. 4 houses, 5 people said that. 5 houses, 4 people said that. 6 houses, 2 people said that. So if you ever see, remember back in the day, they used to have like tallies. So like, okay, I will do like, say if I want to do the survey and they're like, oh, I've done 1. Okay, I've done 1. Oh, I've done 2. Okay, I've done. And you just do these tally marks, like these tick marks. Okay, this is what they're doing. So you always do 4 tick marks with a slice. That gives me 5. And then I just have to add 3 more to give me 8. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. So all they did was, if you ever get to do a survey, this happens before people are finding polls and everything like that. You used to ask somebody a question and then you just tick off what side they wanted, okay, what their response was. So now this is asking me, what is the median? So in order for me to figure out what the median is, and I'm going to write it somewhat small. Okay, yep, old time tallies. So instead of writing the houses, it's not the houses. I want to know how many people are saying stuff. So I'm looking at the frequency. So that means I have 6 here, I have 10, I have 8, I have 5, I have 4, I have 2. So you could say, okay, I have 6s, 6 ones. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 10 2s. That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you see how monotonous this is? It's all kinds of crazy. So instead of listing them all out, I know that the median is going to be my middle number. I know, especially from right here, it says how many people I'm going to have. I should have 35. Like these frequencies should add up to 35. Okay, I know my 8 and my 2, that's going to give me a 10. Plus this 10, that gives me 20. And then I have my 6 and my 4, that gives me another 10. That's 30. Plus that 5. So I do have 35 people being represented. So if I want to be in the middle, I'm looking for the which term. So C4 is saying either 6 or 5. Okay. So bundle's saying like 5.5. Okay. All right. So if I have 6 and 10, this will give me 16. And then if I go backwards, 2 plus 4 will give me 6. Well, I got 5 and 4, that's 9, 10, 11. Okay. 11 and 8 will give me 19. This is 16. So that means my middle term is going to be somewhere in with roughly the 3 houses. And you're like, whoa, how'd you do that? Okay. If I'm trying to find the middle of my terms, I have 35 terms here, 35 people. If I take that 35 and I divide it by 2, what would I get? So 35 divided by 2, what would that be? We know it's not a whole number. Okay, so Candy Girl's saying 17.5. Okay, 17.5. Okay, good. My butterfly rainbow. All right, so 17 and a half. Okay, 17.5. Good. So we're trying to say that the middle of all these, because if I list all my ones like I showed you here, it'll be 6 ones. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? And then I would have 10 2s. Altogether, I would have 16 numbers. So if I know that my median is going to be somewhere around 17.5, I want to know roughly where would that 17.5 land. Will it land in 1 house, 2 house, 3 house, 4 house, 5 house homes, or 6 houses? So if this is 16, and then this one was, what do we say, 19? So that means my 17.5 is going to land somewhere in the middle of 3 houses. Nope, you don't have to put them in order. Well, the reason why I say you're not putting in order, because they're already in order. because we're looking at how many times we're writing the houses. So the houses are like, so it's going to be 6 ones. It's going to be 10 twos. Then it's 8 threes. Then it's 5 fours. Then it's 4 fives. Then it's 2 sixes. Okay. Top of. Cross star, top of. Top of line 3. Oh, we're in the position. Yes. Okay. Oh, you were talking about the frequency numbers? No, not the frequency numbers. Not the frequency numbers. The frequency is telling you how many times you're writing ones. The frequency is telling you how many times you're writing twos, how many times you're writing threes, how many times you're writing fours, how many times you're writing fives, and how many times you're writing sixes. Yes. Okay. Because I got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I got my threes. 1, and I'm losing you guys. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 2 sixes. Let's see if you guys can see that. Okay. So, if I were, this is what I could do. Okay. So the frequency is telling me how many times I'm writing out the number of houses. So I know I could cancel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means I'm coming over here. I'm canceling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I cancel out 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm canceling out 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, because if it's in the middle, it's going to tell me I should be in the middle. So if I got 1, 2, 3, then I got 1, 2, 3. There's my middle number. Okay, so if it's the middle number, that means I should, because I know there's certain circumstances that's not going to be beautifully even, but I should have the same amount of numbers on the right-hand side as I will have on the left-hand side. Okay, so instead of you writing it all out like this, because remember, this is time consuming, but until we get comfortable with it, I will do it this way. But once you write out how many times you're writing the number of homes, then to find the median, because it's already in numerical order, once you find the median, you're going to count towards the middle. So you can put them into small groups. Like, okay, let me count out my 6 from starting at the 1s, then starting at the 6 and going down, counting off those 6, like canceling them out. And remember, whatever the group that you want to do, if you want to cancel them in groups of 3s, you can cancel in groups of 3s. If you want to cancel in groups of 7s, you can cancel in groups of 7. But remember, whatever you do with the lower numbers, you need to do with the higher numbers. Okay, so the median is in 3. So the median of all this data is people that live in roughly 3 homes. Okay. We're all right? Yeah. So if anything, you look at what your total is, divide that by 2, and then try to figure out where it would lie. Okay? All right. Cool. Now, what's my mode? See if I can speed up a little bit. What's my mode? Okay, yeah, you can do it that way, Jay. Okay, so the two houses, good. So that 10, good. So the two houses, that will be your mode, because that is the most frequent, okay? A lot of people said they lived in two homes. So now, we need to figure out our mean, okay? Mean means average. So what do you think we're going to have to do in order to find our mean? Okay, which numbers are you going to do? Are you going to be doing the number of homes or the frequency? Yes. So you get the sum of the numbers, add them up, and divide. Yes, divide by 35. Yes. Okay, so here's my silly question. Which numbers? Are we taking the numbers that we just pulled out from the frequency, add those up, or are we adding up the frequencies? Okay, you're saying the frequency number of the houses. Frequency? Okay, I got you guys thinking. All right, so here's one way you can approach it. All right, so we know there's 6 ones. Okay, we know that there's 6 ones. So instead of you typing out 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, why not just say 6 times 1 plus? For the number of homes, it'll be 10 times 2 plus. Then you have your 3 times 8 plus. Okay, your 4 times 5 plus. I'm trying to see around my calculator. Plus, and then your 6 times 2. Okay. Right? Yes. Because you can multiply these, because remember, multiplication is fast addition. Okay, so if you do 6 plus 1, that's the same as saying 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So now that you have this multiplied and totaled to 102, we need to divide that by the number of people, which is 35. Okay. Yep. Okay, so since we have that 102 and divided by the 35, we have our mean. 2.9, if they wanted to round it to a whole number, doesn't that look closer to 3? Okay. Okay, so 2.914, we can say that. Or 2.91, that's perfectly fine as well. Okay. So our mean looks like our average is 2.914, which could be roughly 3. Now, is it possible for our mean and our median to be the same? Okay. You can say about 3, Jay. You can say about 3. Yes. It is possible for your mean and your median to be exactly the same. Okay, it is possible. Now, is it always? No. But is there a possibility? Yes. Especially this one, very close. But the only reason why we said about 3 because we rounded. If we didn't round, it's not exact. Okay? So that's why sometimes it'll work. Okay? All right. So when you come across a frequency problem similar to this, all right, we know that my frequency is supposed to add up to the total number of people, which was 35 in this case. So instead of writing out the number of 1s, 2, 3, 4, 5s, and 6s based off of the frequency to find the median, you can take your 35, let me put it off to the side here. We can take our 35, divide by 2, which gave us our 17.5. So that means the median is going to be roughly this either the 17th or the 18th. Really, if we round, it'll be nice. The 18th number of our frequency. Okay? So we have 6 here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. See? Okay? So even though we got the 17.5, this is basically the 18th number of our list. So that will save you a little bit of time than writing them all out and then trying to figure out. Okay? What does the 2 represent? What does the 2 represent? Are you talking about the 2 being the mode or the half? So 35 divided by 2. The 2 is like you want half. The 35 is going to be the half. So if you're trying to find the median, you're trying to find the middle. So like if I have 4 quarters to represent $1, a half a dollar is 2 quarters. So I have to divide by 2. Okay. I know, it's late. It was a lot. There was a lot that the brain was taking in at that point. Okay, let's try one more like this, and then I want to show one that looks like a test question. Okay. So, and I am almost done my new venture. You're like, what? I'm always doing something. I'm always thinking of something, right? So I'm working on improving or adding to my collection for the notebooks. And I can't wait to present it to you. And my books that I finally ordered is finally on their way. Oh, can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Oops, got a little gap right here. But I'll present it to you guys once it's all officially done. All right, maybe if I'll do it like this, this might work. Okay. Sort of, kind of. All right. So Ben asked everyone in his class how many pets they have. He represented the results. Oh, cool. I can do this. The results in the frequency table. So for 0 pets, 6 people said that. 1 pet, 3 people said that. 2 pets, 7 people said that. 3 pets, 4 people said that, as well as 4 pets, 4 people said that. And 6 pets, they have a zoo. 1 person says that. Like, what's going on? Okay, so they asked, what fraction of the class has at least 1 pet? Okay, so this time they didn't give us the total. They didn't tell us how many people were in the class. But could we figure that out? Could we figure it out? Okay, so I'm getting yes, yes, yes. We have 19 out of 25. I see 21 out of 25. We have 25. All right, so we agree with the 25. Okay, so we have 6 and 4. That gives me 10. 3 and 7. That gives me 10. That's 20. Plus 4 plus 1 gives me 25. So we have that total of 25 students. So we want to know the fraction of the class that has at least one pet. So some people are saying 3, some people are saying 19. So at least is the key phrase that always gets people. What does at least mean? Okay, what does at least mean? Because that I'm seeing 3 and I'm seeing 19s. Now I'm seeing 1. Now I'm seeing 12.5. But majority of the answers I'm getting are 19 and 3. So knowing what at least is, okay, does at least mean the minimum? Less means the minimum, but at least is 1 or more, right? So if I want to make at least $1,000, that means I want $1,000 plus. So this is the part that gets a lot of people, okay? So I'm looking at the numbers that have 1 pet or more. So that's why I'm looking at 3, I'm looking at 7, 4, 4, and 1. So if it's 25, let me just take out the 6, the ones that don't have a pet, and I will get my fraction, which is 19 over 25. Okay? The key wording right here was at least. So when they say at most, that means it's like, I want to have at most, I don't know. I want to have at most 5 problems today. That's it. That means I want 5 problems and less. Okay? So at least, if I may put it as an inequality, is going to be greater than or equal to. That's going to help you with a lot of word problems. Okay? Yes, Bree, the cap. Good. Yep, writing and math makes it easier. Okay. So the mode. Okay. The mode is the most frequent, which is what C4 is saying. What is the mode? What is the most frequent? And he's saying 2 pets. Because 7 people, which is the most frequency, okay. All right. Do I teach Algebra 2? Yes, I do. Actually, Algebra 2 is my jam. I actually like that. Yep, just go ahead and message me if you need assistance, if you're looking for a tutor. Because I definitely have openings. A lot of my seniors are graduating either this week, or I have a couple that's going to be, most of them are graduating this week. Some of them are graduating like next Monday. Weird, right? A Monday graduation? I don't know. Okay. Oh, I know a lot about special right triangles. 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90. Beautiful thing. All right. So what is my median? Okay. So again, we want to find the middle number. We know we have a total of 25. Let's take that 25 and divide it by 2. So I think someone said the 12.5. Who was it? Was it Michael? Someone said 12.5 earlier. Oh, it was Sir Eagle. Yep, I think it was Sir Eagle. See, like I like to give credit when credit's due, guys. There you go. All right. And then Bree said it as well. Okay. Miss Kickbutt. Okay. When you're taking classes, all right, let me know. I'm here. So when we divide that 25 by 2, you get 12.5. So that means roughly like your 13th term. So if we got our 12.5, so we have 6 and 3. Okay, that gives me 9. Plus 7, that gives me 16. That's way too high. All right. So that means somewhere in 2, stage 2 is going to be where my 12.9 is. So because we got 1, 4, and 4, that gives me 9. So that means it's somewhere in the mix of 2 pets. That's exactly where that median is going to be, somewhere in here. Because I know from 6 plus 3, that gives me 9. So that means my other additional 3 is going to be in here with the 2s. If I do 1, I got 4 and 4. That gives me 9. So that means the additional 3 is going to be somewhere in here with the 2s. Okay. So that means my median is going to be 2. And especially, it's an odd number, so it's definitely going to be a whole number. If it's even, you might want to put all the numbers out, if you can see it visually. It is. Because remember, you got 7 of those 2s that's being listed, Pog. Okay. Hey, I'm in my 50s too. Yay. Okay. So what is the mean number of pets that the class have? Okay, so we can do what we did earlier. We want to know, we know there's 25 of them, but we can do this, well, we know that 0 times 6, I'm just doing it for things. Think you got it? Okay, so 0 times 6 plus 1 times 3, whoa, plus 2 times 7 plus 3 times 4. And I know some of these numbers, we could have easily just put the numbers in. I get it. But remember, I'm just showing people where things are coming from. Okay? Because I know I could have easily just skipped over the 0 and the 6 because that's going to give me 0. I know I could have just skipped the 1 and the 3, just made it a 3. I can do like 3 plus 14 plus 12 plus 16 plus 5, right? Could easily have done that. But I just want to show you where these numbers are coming from, okay? Now, you have your 50, just like C4 mentioned. And we know there's 25 numbers, so we're going to take our answer of 50 divided by 25, which gives us, bam, 2. That's going to be your mean. So our mean of our data is a 2. And just like we said earlier, your mean and your median can be the same number. Okay. Michael, what are you thinking about? I think that's a thinking face. at this part of the night, things are starting to look all kinds of great. All right. Wondering why the median and the mean is the same, or wondering why someone's doing these tallies. Like, why do you care how many pets someone has? You didn't divide 25 by 6. Why should I divide 25 by 6? Because there's like 6 areas. Okay. Well, thank you. So when I was looking at the frequency, I want to find the middle of my frequency. I don't want to move forward. I was like, what's going on? Okay. All 3 are the same. Yep. The mean, the median, and the mode. Okay. All right. Now, I have one more, which you're going to somewhat hate me on. They're like, what? We can't hate you, Audrey. No, you're going to hate me on this one. All right. Because sometimes I see this, but I do see it not so much on GED, but I do see it on SATs. So I just wanted to show the different levels. And then, you know what? I don't want to show this one. Let me show you what I actually see on the test that most of you guys are going to be taking. Let's put it that way. Let's do that way. Now, instead of me cutting and pasting, I'm just going to pull from a sheet that I found. Okay. So most of us know about Regents test. They always have samples of stuff. Now, they had another way of doing the frequency table. So the frequency table right here, this is what's called a two-way frequency table. So let me zoom in to the table itself so we can see that. All right, so here's the situation, and I'm just going to give you the table. So a middle school conducted a survey of students to determine if they spend most of their time, it really says more of their time, playing games or watching videos on their tablets. The results are shown in the table below. So the way that we're reading this, we have the results with the boys and we have the results with the girls. But then we also have them both playing, the ones that just play games on their tablets, and that includes both boys and girls, and then the ones that does watching the videos, and this includes both boys and girls. So the reason why they call it like a two-way frequency table is because we had one instance, which is they're playing game, what they're doing on their tablets, and then who are the people that's taking the survey. So they want to know, of the students, so I'm just going to leave this here, of the students who spend more time playing games on their tablets, approximately what percent were boys? They always have something like this on any of those assessments. But we just need to know where to look. So let me tell you. They're giving us two things. playing games. And let's see if I can slide over. And boys. Okay, so we're not talking about the girls. We're talking about those that are playing games. And the total number of kids that are playing games is under playing games. That's 192. But how many of that 192 are boys? Okay. How many of them are boys? Okay, Bree says 138. Okay, Candy Girl saying my 72%. Good. Bundles of Blessings saying 184. Okay, Pog is saying 138. My basketball number 12 is saying 138. Okay. Got a couple people sharing the lives. Thank you very much. All right. So this is when it gets crazy. It's not going to be the 184 because the 184 includes boys, yes, but it includes boys that are playing games and watching videos. So the ones that are playing games and watching videos adds up to be 184. But we want to know who spends more time just playing games. So that means, where did my little card go? Oh, here it is. That means we're not even looking at anything else. We're just focusing on playing games. So the total number of students playing games is 192. But what's the percentage of them is boys, which is 138. So we're looking at 138 over 192. And which a couple of you guys already told me. I think it was Candy Girl and Brigitte, or Bridget, is telling me 72%. Okay, questions on that? Because these are what you will see on those assessments. These are the ones that will be like those 4-point questions that you're like, oh yeah, this is easy. And then you're like, wait, what is it asking? And then all of a sudden time's going and you're like, oh, I just got stuck on that one problem. Okay. So we really got to take a look at what they're saying. Okay, divide the opposite way. Okay. So remember, it's always going to be part over the whole. I always like to remember that with fractions. Fractions is always your part, what you're looking for, over the whole data or data. Okay. All right. So let's try another one. Okay, I'm going to keep this up here. Some adults were surveyed to find out if they would prefer to buy a sports utility vehicle or a sports car. Okay, the results of the survey is in the table below. All right, so here we go. Of the number of adults that prefer sports cars, approximately what percent were male? So we're just looking at sports cars. What's the percentage that they were male? And then you can put the fraction in. I will take that. If you're not sure, you can put a question mark. If you know the percentage, you can put that in as the answer as well. Okay, I'll read it one more time. I do see a couple people with 45s. All right. So the number of adults prefer sports cars. That's important. Approximately what percent were male? Okay, so I'm seeing Snippety. How are you? Okay, Felicia, both 45%, 45%. Are you doing probability and stats? Yes, Juan, I am. Well, a part of it, mostly data analysis right now. All right. Thank you for your honesty. Is it Nakia? Nakia? Probably Nakia. Okay. Is that Ruggers? That's saying 38 out of 59. Okay, Sir Eagles got 45%. Michael R, 45.2%. Candy Girl, 45%. Hey, Snippety. 38 out of 84. Okay, good. And then we have a 64%. Is it about 45%? We have another honest answer. Thank you. How are you, Melody? Okay, Bree is saying 45. Bridget is saying 64%. Okay, let's take a look. So, of the adults, and they're looking just at sports cars. Okay, they're not looking at the SUV. Oh yeah, I can use this. All right, so they're not looking at the sports car. At the SUV, just the sports car. So we have a total of 84. How many were males? The males were the top number. So we're looking at 38 out of 84. Okay. And you're probably saying, well, when am I going to use these numbers over here, Audrey, where they say the totals? Well, you use those when they're talking about, in this case, the SUV and the sports car. But since they just mentioned the sports car, we're blocking those things out and just focusing on the sports car. If they say and, that means we're looking at the SUVs and the sports car that were male. Okay? So if they wanted to do female, this way, this deals with the SUV, the sports car, and that's the total of just females that likes the SUV and they like sports cars. All right. Okay. That likes the SUV and they like sports cars. All right. Okay, so since we just did, the part was the male, the whole was the total number that dealt with sports cars. So when you divide the two, you're going to get 45.2. Okay, so we're looking at 45.2% or the 45%. Okay. Questions with that? Are we okay now? Yeah, I know. Like when it comes to the frequency thing, I usually, if I can use my hand to cover things, because sometimes you just don't have extra pieces of paper, you can use your hand. But if they give you scrap paper, you can fold it, rip it. They don't care. As long as you give them the paper back, that's fine. And then if you want to train yourself to kind of narrow things down, you can do that. Okay? Okay. Yep. That's what we're going to do. All right. So we have another one. So Jenna took a survey of her senior class to see whether they prefer pizza or burgers. The results are in the table below. So of the people who preferred burgers, approximately what percent were female? They give you a whiteboard? Okay. Oh, that's nice. You probably don't want to spend all the money on paper. Okay. So Snippety, you're saying 62%? Does it terminate at 45.2 or is that rounded to the nearest 10? That's rounded to the nearest 10. Okay, so I'm seeing 38%. I'm seeing 38.2%. I'm seeing Pocahontas, welcome in. I'm seeing 38%. Bree is saying 38.2%. Yeah, 38.2. So Bree is saying 26 out of 68. Okay, Bridge is saying 38%. Can't see the entire question. I know, you're not going to be able to. Because if I do it like this, it's way too small. Okay. All right. So if we're preferring burgers, okay, so we're looking at burgers. How many people said burgers? What was the total number of people that said burgers? And a lot of you guys are telling me it's going to be 68. The one difference between this graph, sorry, I got to make it bigger. This graph and the other graph is because they didn't give us the totals. So we need to put the totals down. So right now, I don't care about the entirety of pizza because it says who preferred burgers. So my whole is going to be dealing with the burgers. And the part is female. So if you want to write it out like this, my whole is the burgers. Over female. Okay? They don't want the total number of females. Okay? They want just the females that are into burgers. So that's going to be 26. But they do want the total number of people who likes burgers, which we figured out was 68. So now you have your 26 out of 68, which gives you like 0.382. But if we're doing, I'm going to say my approximate, so 0.382. But remember, if we're going to go from a decimal, we got to get to that percentage. So if you multiply this by 100, I know I don't like the x, but here we are. So we can multiply by 100, or you can simply move 1, 2, your decimal place over, or decimal over 2 places to the right, which will give me 38.2%. There you go. You could. It's really a ratio because we're not setting it equal to another ratio. Janice. Okay. Yep. So it's always your part, which is the female, over the whole. Okay. Part over the whole just seems to kind of stick, but that sticks for me. So if there's something else that you need to say to make it stick, do so. That's for tomorrow. Okay. Let's see if we can get possibly 2 more and then we're done. Okay. Even though I do have like a list right here. So I'm going to leave you alone. Okay. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. But I'm going to read the question to you because I know it's sorry that, you know, we just don't have the means right now. All right. So students were asked to name their favorite sport. Let me cover. Wow. Let me get a real piece of paper so you don't have to. It's not so you won't look at the next problem, so you can focus on one of your problems. Okay. So students were asked to name their favorite sport from a list of basketball, soccer, or tennis. The results are shown in the table below. What percentage of the students chose soccer as their favorite sport? Okay, so let me zoom in. Okay, what percent of students chose soccer as their favorite sport? Okay. And so far I have 3. Nope, I lied. 4 answers. Oh, 5. Ah. All right, Emmy. Then divide the 99. Was it total students? Yes. So did they give us the total students? Okay. So I'm seeing some 39.6s. I'm seeing some 40%. I'm seeing 0.396. I'm seeing 99. I'm seeing 3s. I'm seeing 49.5s. We can be rounded to 50s. We are making that assumption, Michael. That we're assuming the students can only vote for one sport. Okay. So, this one is a little tricky. One, they did not tell us how many students are in the school that had the sports. So, what we will have to do is add up our 42, our 58, our 20. Just like Michael said, we want to assume that they are basically have only one vote per person. So we got with this 20. Then we have for the girls. So we have 67 girls. These are my totals. Okay. So 84 plus 46. So we have 130 boys. Okay, let me double check my stuff. Yep. This is what happens. You can tell I'm getting tired. That's why I said let me double check my stuff, because I'm like, that does not make any sense. All right. Okay. Yes. So that means all together we have 120 girls, 150 boys. So that means, 130 boys. So that means we have 250 total students. So now, knowing that information, we want to know how many said that soccer is their favorite sport. Where's the 99 coming from? Because I keep seeing 99, 99, 99, 99. All these angel numbers. So where's the 99 coming from? Okay, good. The 58 plus 41. Since we're just talking about soccer. Okay, we only needed to add all of this to figure out how many students were in this school. Okay, how many athletes they were talking to. But since we want to know just for soccer, we needed to add those together. So that means we're dealing with 99 divided by 250. Okay, so it's your soccer over the whole school. Okay, so it's not the 250 divided by 99. Because I think I was seeing a couple of those, like 2.5s or something. Or maybe I'm delusional. So then it'll be 99 divided by the 250, which gives us 0.396, which if you multiply that by 100, that means move that decimal place over 2 spots, we will get 39.6%. Or at least rounded to roughly 40. Okay. Yes, Melanie. The 99 is the total boys and girls for soccer only. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So let's try another one. Okay, so here is the chart, and this is what's happening. Mrs. Smith's math class surveyed students to determine their favorite flavor of soft ice cream. Their results are in the table. Of the students who preferred chocolate, approximately what percent were seniors? I'll see if I can unzoom just a bit. Or a lot. Okay. So, of the students who preferred chocolate, approximately how many of those were seniors? Do I do calculus? I do not. Calculus is not my jam. I already struggled 1 year with one of my old G students, and it was enough for me. I probably could if I put my mind to it, but that means I would have to really put my mind to it, and that won't be of any service to you. Yeah. But if you do need assistance with calculus, let me know. I do have a guy. I got a guy. All right, so I'm seeing 61.5%, 61.4%, 61.4%, 61.5%. Okay. Okay, 109 divided by 67. Other way around, Luke. Because remember, it's going to be what you're looking for over the whole amount. You got it the other way around. Okay, so 61.467. Okay. Rounded will be like a 5. I gotcha. Good. Okay. So if they prefer chocolate, that means we need the total number of people that likes the chocolate. Okay? So that gave us 109. But we want to know how many were seniors. So that's what we're looking for. That's my numerator. And then the 109 is my denominator. Okay, so what we were looking at, these are my seniors that were up here. And these are the ones that loves chocolate. Okay. So when you do your 67 and your 109, you will get 0.615 rounded, which if I move it 2 places over, because I need it as a percent, that will be 61.5%. All right. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Michael. All right. Such a nice handwriting. Oh, thank you. I think tonight is a little sloppy, but thank you. All right. So these you will see. You will see. But it's just a matter of sitting down just for a moment and be like, all right, what is the overall number? And then who am I looking for? And then remember, if they're talking like, say, for the next one, I just want to read the answer. So the percentage of students who choose Broadway theme were girls. All right. So I don't care if this was for prom or whatever, but this is how many people Broadway theme for girls. What's the percentage of students who chose Broadway theme? So both the boys and the girls that chose Broadway theme is your 68 plus your 79. So that's 17 and 1, so like 147. Okay? Oops. Now, but they want to know how many were girls. So they're comparing the Broadway to the girls. So they don't even care about Beach Party or Hollywood. They're just focusing on the total number that was Broadway and then how many was girls. So the part is the 68, the whole is the 147, because they just want to know from the Broadway theme. It is 46%. There we go, Danielle. Yeah, they do give you a lot of noise. They really do. It's like no one cares. And like when you look at the word problems, I always say when you see something with numbers, highlight it or underline it. And then read the question and then go back to see, okay, was that something of importance? With majority of time, yes. Yes, it is. Excellent, teacher. You deserve a summer break. Screw the raise. You need a higher salary. Trust me. I know. Okay. It's just relaxing. Oh, thanks, Joy. I'm glad. Aubrey, nice. I'm glad that you're finding it relaxing, because if I may, I'm going to go on my soapbox before we disappear for today. My whole reasoning to come on TikTok is, one, I want to help adults to get over their fear of math phobia. Because what happens is that trickles down to their kids. And yeah, their kids are a little more resilient, but when it's home, it has that barrier, and then the kids are going to have that barrier, and it just makes everything crazy. And of course, you always hear a lot of people, well, when they're going to use this in real life? Well, what do you want to do in real life? Because there's math surrounding you at all areas. So it depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it. So I always say that I want to share with you as much math as I can possible that you can actually be successful in. So when it comes down to, I just want to create a calming atmosphere. I know sometimes I go slow. I know I constantly repeat myself because I like to make sure people understand the concepts. But at the same time, I just want to make you feel comfortable with the situation. So when you're taking the GED or the ASVAB or the Accuplace or maybe even just taking just algebra and you're currently still in the classroom, now you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm stupid, I can't do anything, and you want to shut down. Okay? So, yeah, slow is good. It is. Because I don't think we give our students, especially, I don't know, maybe because I'm getting older, but I feel like everything is speeding up so quickly. Like things that used to be taught in Algebra 2 when I was in the classroom as a teacher, I'm starting to see them do it in damn near algebra, like from grade school. And then they're like, the kids are sitting there like, I don't know what this is. I'm stupid. And I'm like, no, you're not stupid. It's because the whole system or the curriculum is going way too fast and you don't have time for it to marinate in your brain. So that's just my thought. For a second, yes. Let's see. Nervous. Right. And that's the thing. It's nice to have the formulas, but sometimes, like, especially as we get older, we can kind of look at some things now. And especially if you're going to be taking any of these assessments, always refer to your answer choices. Because if you're doing, say, a really long multiplication problem, but you know the result of the first multiplication gives you a 5, look at your answer choices and see which one of those numbers end in 5. And if only one ends in 5, that's your answer. Click it, move on. It's like little things like that because we're so trained that we have to show all our steps. But when you take these standardized assessments, it's completely different. Completely different from how you take a test in the classroom. Okay? Oh, so I remember learning this in Algebra 2, struggling with it. Okay. You have, the middle or high school. Yep. I got beat doing math. Ooh, something happened to my things. 1 second. Yes, I have 7th grader and is not the same. Yeah. Because their 7th grade math is right now is starting to look like it used to be first year high school math. And then especially now that they're doing like Singapore. So it's like how they count. Yeah, it's rough. Right? It's like his dad. I don't get it as easy as they do. Yeah. Yep. And then sometimes I'm a visual and then I've actually had an auditory student one time and that blew my mind because sometimes I'm thinking that he's not paying attention and then all of a sudden he gets the test, he aces it. He was like, yeah, I was listening to you the whole time. I'm like, you're one of those unicorns that I keep hearing about in my psych class, in college. I was like, I never knew they existed. But yeah, they're out there. They are out there. I'm not good at math. No, don't be sad. No. Trust me. Nakia, stop. Nakia, do not put that on you. There's nothing sad. It's like how the math was presented to you, okay, was probably presented with someone that knew math but didn't know how to break it down to brand new students. Okay, so when we remember, sometimes I have to slow myself down when I'm in the classroom because I'm used to like, oh, okay, let me just go here. And then there's times I have to pause and just stop and turn and look at my students and say, are you guys getting this? And they'll be like, yeah, lying like I don't know what. I'm like, would you guys stop lying to me? Let's go back. And there's times that, sometimes we have to kind of slow things down a little bit, but sometimes the curriculum just does not give us that freedom. And that's another thing that I noticed has changed. And I'm really glad I left the classroom because of this. I feel like the teachers don't have a say. Like I remember when teachers created the quizzes, they created the assessments. They got together, like if there was a group of teachers, then like say you had a whole bunch of Algebra 1 teachers, Algebra 2 teachers, geometry teachers. We got together, sat down and created our own assessment that we wanted our kids to do. Or you have one teacher did the quiz one time, another person will do the assessment, the next, whatever. That's not happening anymore. It's like just rip it out of a book. And then you wonder why the kids don't do well with the assessments because the assessment doesn't match the way that you teach and it confuses the kids. And it's not because of the teaching, it's because your district is telling you, you need to give this test. Well, my kids, the language that I share with my kids doesn't match this test. Or, okay, show them this video. Well, that video is showing a classroom that doesn't represent my classroom. So my kids don't know the connection. So it's a whole thing. Yeah, I can talk forever on this. Oh my goodness. It's hard. And then of course a lot of parents are thinking, okay, let me just take my kids out of school and let me homeschool them. And I'm like, okay, how much time do you have to plan? Because everyone thinks that teaching is easy. Like, oh, you just get to spend time with the kids 8 hours a day. No, boo-boo. Like after I leave here, I'm actually going to kind of do like a video recording of showing you what I do once the lights and the cameras is off. Because I'm not going to bed until like 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then I get up at 6 and my day starts all over again. Because I have to do emails. I have to do lesson plans. I got to do the lesson for tomorrow. Tomorrow is rigid transformation in addition to dilation if we can get to dilation. But I think we're just going to focus on rigid transformation. So I can do a little bit of geometry. But if you want something, if you're going after your GED, your ASVAB, okay, maybe even the TEAS test if you're trying to be a nurse. And a lot of that algebraic components is a little rough. If you know of someone, if it's not you, but you know someone that's thinking about doing these things, or they need some remediation with their algebra. Maybe it's a young kid that as soon as school's over, they might want to do something over the summer. I am giving a live through my Zoom. Okay, so it's not on TikTok, it's through my Zoom. But I'm doing a live teaching of algebra. So I'm starting all the way from the very beginning with fractions. Okay, adding, subtracting integers. What is an integer? Like I'm really going back to this is a counting number. This is whole numbers. These are fractions. This is how you reduce a fraction. This is how you take an improper fraction and make it into a mixed number. All of that, including one-step, two-step, multi-step equations, graphing a line. What is slope? Looking at the parallel perpendicular lines. Like I'm doing all of that. If you are interested in that, okay, one, you can click on my website, which is on my on my profile. And there is a section that says Summer Math Prep for GED, Accuplacer, ASVAB, TEAS test. Okay, click on that, read the information that's involved there. Okay, I had a flash sale this weekend as a launch. So the price of that is going to be $147. Okay, we meet twice a week for 90 minutes a day. Okay, you're either coming in a Monday, Wednesday, or you're coming in a Tuesday, Thursday. So that will be very beneficial. So if anything, I'll do what Michael always tells me to do. Show the people, Audrey. Show the people. All right, so let me see if I can. All right, let me go back to, this is me, this is you, this is you, this is me. All right, so my friend Stamy, she's so insane. Love her. We played basketball with each other. Oh my God, been around for so long. Where is my profile? There we go. All right, so we're here in my profile. Here's ACG Math Tutoring. Now, this is going to come up. You're about to open a link. I know you don't know me from Adam or Eve, but I'm going to put it on there. Okay, so this is my actual website. So if we want to, we can scroll. And then I have like a little introduction. This is what I give to all my tutoring clientele. But when it comes to here, okay, want to pass the GED, the ASVAB, the TEAS assessment, register for the summer course. So we're starting June the 9th. I know some of the kids are probably like still in school, but I can do something separate for the kids if you need something for the summer. Please let me know. Especially if you have kids that are going to make that transitional year. What I mean by transitional year, meaning from 8th grade to 9th grade, and they know that they're going to struggle with Algebra 1, please contact me so I can do this. So once you click on Learn More, and eventually it's going to pop up. All right, so it's like the slight page that comes here. Then if we scroll down, kind of gives you a little synopsis of what's happening. And then this is what you get, okay? So you got live Zoom sessions twice a week for 12 weeks. So that will take you to like the last week of August, okay? I know once school starts, we're going to have to change our schedules around a little bit. That's perfectly fine. I will do what I need to do in order to help you out. Because at the end of this, what I would love for you to do is to sign up for the GEDs, sign up for the AccuPlacer, sign up for the ASVAB, and take it right away so you can knock it out. The replays, just in case, hey, it's last minute. So you might already have a vacation already situated. So if you need a replay, the replays will be there as well as copies of my notes. Then we'll have like a little bit of homework assignments and any kind of test strategies. I will definitely share that with you guys, as well as real-time Q&A. The first day, we're just getting right into it, okay? Then we do our questions and answers at the end. But from the second day all the way to the last day, we'll start with the Q&A because I'm going to give you like homework, like 5, maybe at the absolute most 10 problems. We're not going too crazy, okay? Because usually around like problem number 8, the mind just goes kaput. It's just done, all right? So then real-time examples, motivation from me. Like I said, the printable pages, but no pressure, no judgment. I'm not going to give you a big assessment. The big assessment is you actually taking that ASVAB, actually taking that AccuPlacer, actually taking the GED. That's what I want you to do while it's still fresh in your mind. And then I just give you the access code, so you go there. And then just like, again, Michael's amazing. He told me it's like $6.13 per session. Who else is dedicating 90 minutes and you just have to pay $6.13 per session? Come on. But there are additional add-ons. Like if you want one-to-one tutoring in addition to that, just let me know. And then also if you want to get like another notebook for you to do that, just let me know. All right, so that's all here. And I think that's about it for that part. But again, if you like my notebooks and how it's kind of set up a little bit, definitely next year I'm going to be pushing a lot with this. For some reason, I cannot get on TikTok Shop. I am trying my hardest. I don't know why. But I designed this notebook. I basically created this notebook. So all of my notes, all the notes that I have done since I've been on TikTok doing this, that was since February 2nd. I actually have something called Audrey's Notes. So let me grab those. You would think I would have that. So what I do, because my books haven't come in just yet, but what happens with Audrey's Notes is like, you got Cliff Notes, now you got Audrey's Notes. So if anything, it's color copies of all my notes. And within every color copy, there's a QR code, okay? So the QR code goes directly to the live that I did to do the notes. So all you have to do is scan the QR code, and either yourself or your student can just follow along with the notes, because we know their note-taking skills are not the strongest in the world, and we need to go back to teaching kids, especially when they're in middle school, how to write notes, please. Okay, so that's Audrey's Notes, and right now I'm working on book number 4. So that's where we are now for the regular notes. But instead of just notes, it also has all these resources in the back. Okay, this gives us a factor sheet. Okay, so if you're looking at all these factors, oops, almost forgot to go back to you guys. I was like, where'd you guys go? All right. So it gives us like a factor sheet, and then also the rules that a lot of people generally forget. Okay, so then you have like your word problems. Then we also have your linear and quadratics, everything that you'll see on the test, and usually the most ones that students have a tendency to forget. This is what we're going to work on tomorrow: translation, reflection, and rotation. So I'm going to help you to understand the rules of those things. So that's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can't believe it's Friday already. Okay, so properties of quadrilaterals. We talked about the volume and surface area, area of a sector, arc length. So this is designed for our secondary students. Okay, none of this just having a multiplication chart in the back and talk about maybe some conversions here and there. That's about it, right? Pythagorean's theorem, okay, SOHCAHTOA. Other of the trig identities, which I am going to be expanding on soon, and the unit circle, okay, even with its graph. Now, in addition to that, everybody needs a brain break. So a couple puzzles for them to do, maybe even a word search, just so, to kill the time. And then if you want to do a little bit of sketching, you can do some sketching, or if you're into pixel art, you can do some pixel art, all right? So I have this on sale on my website, and it's also on Amazon. So it's up to you where you want to go. And again, if you need to find the replays of my live, go to Audrey Codner ACG Math Tutoring. That's my YouTube channel. If you want any private tutoring, just go ahead and let me know. I already told you about my math notebooks, which is also in Books by Audrey Codner. I already told you, but we also have on demand. So if you're a type of person, or maybe your kid is really good with being, try to do that on demand, just doing it by yourselves, hey, knock yourself out. You can also get those courses, which has practice tests and quizzes and some videos on there, and that's also in my website. Now, if you want to take a screenshot of this, you can. If you're going into nursing, make sure you follow a blessed RN. She knows how to take the diagnosis and how to do the conversions with very little math, okay? Not too much brain stuff. So then you have, but we want to keep people alive, okay? Then you have your T's, your ASVAB, your GED, Impact Math 19, okay? Miss Taylor, she's amazing. Now, I do the same thing, But here's my thing. You got two people. The more people that you talk very similar about, that's what you want to do. Because she does a lot for during the mornings and I'll just come in the evenings. Then for chemistry, if you need a chemistry tutor, Professor TK, she's amazing. She was actually on tonight. And then my friend Lynette, she does the abacus. Now, for those teachers that were in here, if anything, I'm on the East Coast, Joy. So if anything, if you want to have your kids to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, okay, using not just counting their fingers and toes, but using the abacus, movement of the beads. Like now they can feel what does it mean to add numbers and to subtract numbers. So now there's no guessing. This has been the way that we've done math for centuries. It's an art form. So if you're really interested in learning that, please definitely go follow Learning with Lynette. She's amazing with it. Hell, I learned how to do it by looking at her. And then if you have a younger kiddo and you're thinking about doing homeschooling, like I said earlier, it's not easy. And sometimes you just need help with the curriculum. My friend Nancy, her name is Online Elementary Tutor. Okay, she's here on TikTok as well. So she can definitely give you some advice. She's actually tutoring kids during the summer for reading and math. And she was doing like a math lab, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Alrighty. Okay, enough of the salesy stuff. But this is what I have to do, right? This is what I have to do. And I love doing it. And I'm always, basically, I'm here 7 days a week. So Saturdays and Sundays, 8:30 p.m., Fridays, 1 o'clock p.m., and Monday through Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. So you can always catch me here. We're always just doing some things math related. It could have been something that my tutoring kids need help with, or maybe even one of you guys want me to go over. That's why we're doing rigid transformations tomorrow, because it was requested. But if you need something that is a little more consistent and more structured, definitely sign up for the summer course. It's going to be worth it, because I don't see anybody else doing what I'm doing when it comes to that. Do you know someone who teaches or tutors for writing? Actually, I do. Go ahead and DM me, Bree. Because I do know a couple. But I want to get to know you and your personality so I can match the right person for you. Because we don't have time for you to start with one person and all of a sudden you got to switch to someone else, okay? Okay, no problem. Okay, you need that too, Janice? All right. Yeah, I was like, and plus I know your personality, so, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yes. No problem, bundles. Have a great evening. Blessing to you as well. All right, everyone. If there is anything, anything legally that I can do, because I gotta emphasize that I ain't got bail money, so don't be acting too crazy this weekend. As soon as it gets a little hot out, everybody's starting losing their minds. But if there is anything like math-wise, like just like Bree mentioned about a writing tutor, you never know. You might be looking for a science tutor. You might be looking for a tutor for a younger kid at the rightful age of 4. I have friends that are tutors, and like these are the type of people that I will trust with other people's kids. So if you do have anything, you have a question, just let me know. Okay, just go ahead and message me. I will try to make sure I look into, because we're not following each other, I will try to look into that section more. Okay? All right. Okay, everyone, have a lovely evening and continue to be awesome people. I appreciate you. I mean, 19.7K, I am good, because I know it's a Thursday night. It's close to the end of the school year. A lot of kids are done. A lot of teachers are done. but just continue to be the amazing people that you are. I'm so proud of you for everything that you're doing, and I don't even know you. But just the fact that you're here wanting to learn or just listening to me, I greatly appreciate it. I really do. All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. Blessings to you too. Good night, everyone. Have a good one. And Bree, don't forget to message me, okay? All right. Take care. Bye now.